calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah! What's going on? And happy Monday to you. Oh, stop whining. I know the weekend was great and all this rain it's got you feeling gloomy. I get it. But that's all right. Because it's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. Welcome to the program. I hope you guys are having a splendid Monday. I'm trying to do so. I'm like you. I don't like the rain either. Especially when I found out it's going to rain all day. I like rain in the morning, and then in the afternoon, the sun comes up. It's great. It looks new. It feels new. But then it's going to rain all day. It's like a dark cloud hanging over you. Don't fret, though. Don't fret. It'll be gone tomorrow. Just deal with it today. We need that. We need that water. It's cleansing. Sorry, that's what a therapist would say, or one of these gurus that are out there. It's always talking about your chakra. That's what they would do. It was like, this is cleansing. The earth is, he said, the planet is cleaning itself. It's bathing. Not just saying, it's just that thing. But I get the gloominess. You have to drive out there. It's going to be a little slower. You're probably screaming at the lunatics on the road. Look at the way people drive when it's raining. I take my time. This is the reason why I don't travel far. I try to explain this to all of these guys, make fun of me. Because I say, I'm a 4 songs traveling guy. If the place is longer than 4 songs, I'm not going. And if I have to go, then, I got to play the whole album. If I go with Roseanne, I never play any music because for some odd reason when we're in the car, we never play music. I did this weekend, though. This weekend, for some odd reason, I was really on something. I played a lot of music in the car this weekend, driving back and forth to Hartford and back. I was just enjoying some old songs that I saved on my YouTube music app. I hadn't heard a lot of these songs in years, so it's kind of sort of reminiscing. And when I sort of downloaded these, so it was a weird thing. But anyway, weekend was great, fantastic as always. It was church, it was community, the Mark Twain house. Was great to go see The Mentalist that was there. That was fun. I'm going to have Brian on the show in April. We got to talk a little bit after the show yesterday at Mark Twain House. And I want to thank Mallory and her dad for inviting us, getting us tickets to see that. It's a lot of fun. Tight in that auditorium. Not for somebody big like me. So I'll talk about that. It was good to see Melody out there as well with her husband, Dave. That was fun as well. Nice to see all of you, those who listen to the show, come up and shake my hand. Those of you who don't listen to the show, who say you're going to listen now, I appreciate it. I try not to do, this is a weird thing. Just want to make it clear. Do you ever have to do that, Roland, when somebody recognizes what you do and then you have to talk about it, or someone asks you what you do and then they start investigating even further? It's just like, hey, what do you do? It's like, oh, I work in radio. Oh, really? What station? And then you're like, oh, I got to tell people. I'll be in casual conversation. It was like, oh, really? You're in radio? Like, yes. What station? I'll listen. I'm like, I don't know if you want to. You might not like me. I'm really nervous about that. It's like, I don't want to invite someone to listen to the show and they go, oh, this garbage. But anyway, I met a lot of great people there. It was fun. Anyway, a lot of stuff to talk about today, as it always is. There was an article that was in the Hartford Courant over the weekend, which people are sending my way. Even here, Janine, my direct boss, sent it to me over the weekend. It's like, hey, did you see this article? And I read it, and I was like, come on, guys. This isn't really an article. but we'll get into it. Just because it's of importance to people who mentioned it, we'll talk about it. It involves a guest on this show, Greg Bugbee, who was he was a guest on this show several times talking about the removal of hydrilla in waterways. And an article quoted him as being a supporter of herbicides being used in waterways as a quick and speedy way to remove hydrilla. So I'm going to talk about that. I thank Mark in West Hartford for reposting my interview on X. It's there for everyone to see, which will, again, bolster what I'm about to say in the 3 o'clock hour, dealing with local news. So stand by for that. I also want to talk about, speaking of Connecticut news, I want to talk about an article that was in the Hartford Courant talking about, will the Connecticut bills pass anyway? And according to the Hartford Courant, they say yes. They really do believe that regardless of the reaction to the proposed gun bill and the homeschooling bill and the vaccine bill, that Democrats feel emboldened that they're going to pass these measures anyway. So I want to talk about that a little bit as well. And there is a reaction to be had here. Not that it's a great one, but there's sort of there's a way to combat what the legislature is trying to do. So I want to get to that because I know some people are saying, well, what's the point? There's a point. Just relax. There's a lot of give up in these discussions, and I don't get it either. Also on the program, I have to ask the question, since no one is going to, who are you voting for? Whom are you voting for? That's the question. And that's going to be the question whether anybody likes it or not. Because at the end of the day, it's all about going down to the polls and voting. So who are you voting for? In detail, I will break that down to you. Because I hear a lot of talking. I hear a lot of admonishment. I hear a lot of criticism. I hear a whole lot of stuff. But the only thing I don't hear is what they are doing. And so we're going to ask. And that telephone number is the reason why. 860-522-WTIC. 860-522-9842. We'll start taking calls roughly at about the 4 o'clock hour. And I will keep reiterating to call in the next 2 hours about this. Who are you voting for? That's important. Now, to the opening monologue. Democrats are openly admitting that it is they who are going to suffer from the Save America Act. They are the ones who are going to suffer. And this is an act of desperation. And you must seize on it. Republicans must seize on it. Pay very close attention to what Democrats say. Even if it's nonsensical, you must pay attention to what they say. Why would they reveal openly that they would be affected by the Save America Act? Let me give you an example. This is Debbie Wasserman Schultz. I'm sorry. I always pronounce her name incorrectly. This is her on CNN. And she's asked about passing the Save America Act. And why would she be opposed to it? Now, you heard what Chuck Schumer said. Just for safe measure, let's go back to what Chuck Schumer said about the Save America Act, just in case you forgot.
When people are generally asked about voter ID, they're being asked to show an ID when they show up to vote. But what I'm asking you, Senator, because I know you're against the Save America Act, what kind of voter ID could you support? Is there a middle ground?
Look, Democrats support voter ID, and many states do, but that's not what the SAVE Act does. It will purge tens of millions of Americans from the voting lists, and they won't even know they're purged till they show up at the polling place and they say you're purged. And what is the mechanism for purging them? DOGE, what Elon Musk put in terms of the policies of what to do.
Now, I would look at Chuck Schumer and say, look at old Chucky boy. Because the 20 million he is talking about are obviously people from either stripe, if not many stripes, politically. He has got to be fighting for Americans who would vote Republican, maybe vote independent, maybe vote Green Party, and maybe vote Democrat, right? It would be safe to... No, it's not. Of course it isn't safe to say. The 20 million people, which, by the way, that number is straight bogus. That number came from some silly Yale outfit that now Democrats are suggesting is the reason why 20 million people aren't going to show up. Roland, did you want to chime in? Oh, okay. I saw you raise your hand in there. Okay, that's okay. All right. I'm sorry, just making sure. I saw you raise your hand. I saw your hand go up. I'm like, did Roland want to try him in here? I'm sorry. No problem. Anyway, so to say that he knows that 20 million people are going to rise up, are going to be canceled out, I should say, canceled out of the voting rolls, you would think that, again, this is Chuck Schumer. He's got to be concerned about that. What? Everybody knew he was talking about 20 million potential Democrat voters. That should have been your first clue. We know who Chuck Schumer is. Do you think Chuck Schumer was on television on CNN trying to save the votes of Republican or MAGA folks? Do you think he was concerned about MAGA folks that might not be able to vote in the midterm elections? Of course not. Which leads us to Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who openly admitted that it's Democrats who they're concerned with.
Senator John Thune says he will bring the SAVE Act to a vote in the Senate. Republicans say that this is just about voters having to show ID and proof of citizenship in order to vote. What's wrong with that?
This is about one thing, ensuring that it is much harder for people who are unlikely to go to the polls and vote for Republicans.
Whoa, what? What was that?
This is about one thing, ensuring that it is much harder for people who are unlikely to go to the polls and vote for Republicans, and that making it much harder for them to cast their ballot.
Now, how in the hell would she know that? How would she know that the people who would be disenfranchised are overwhelmingly Democrat voters? The interesting part is that does their polling data suggest, are there 20 million people out there who said, I'm a Democrat and I would be disenfranchised? No. Their polling data doesn't even say that. The one that they got from Yale doesn't even say that.
Putting obstacles in the path of people who simply want to exercise their right to vote, which is the most precious right we have, is absolutely abhorrent. Now,
they're Democrats, right? Debbie Wasserman Schultz says the people who would be the most affected are people who would vote Democrat. The pushback to Debbie Wasserman Schultz would be, how do you know this? And where's the evidence that supports this claim? Also, let me ask you a horrible question, and it's really an important one. How are you disenfranchising your voters in such a way? How are you not mobilized as a party, getting your voters the proper identification to vote? Why is that something you haven't moved on yet? It's March, ladies and gentlemen. It's March. The Save America Act, should it pass, should mobilize Democrats yesterday to make sure that their 20 million voters, which, by the way, they are telegraphing on television every day, do not have the proper documentation. Yet no one has proposed in these states, or anywhere for that matter, Democrat operatives, the DNC, none of them are doing an outreach program teaching those voters or helping those voters get the documentation they need in order to participate. Instead, they're screaming and hollering that they won't. They won't have those things by November. Okay, what do we do? Nobody ever pushes back and says, well, wait a minute, are you working to get those people the opportunity to vote should this legislation pass? That would be my next question. Wow, if there are 20 million and you can identify 20 million, where's the efforts to ensure that they can vote? And the reason why there isn't any pushback, because, the Democrat Party and the media are one and the same, is because there's no interest in that. The objective is to stop the Republicans instead of helping their constituents. And because, bottom line, even if they were to put an all-out effort to get their party, which Debbie Wasserman Schultz is suggesting would be the disenfranchised group, what they would find out if they tried, that if they did everything to make sure those 20 million people could vote, only 5 million would be eligible, if that. There would be we wouldn't find anything in all of this that would say, wow, what a remarkable effort. 20 million people didn't have documentation, but look what the Democrats did. The Democrats got 20 million people the legal right to vote by making sure that they could. They never tried. They haven't tried. There's been no movement whatsoever. I've not even seen an article on the subject. I've never heard, what's his name, Kevin Smith, whatever his name is, the head of the DNC, nothing. I haven't heard, what's her name, Stacey Abrams. That woman's always talking about disenfranchisement. Remember that whole nonsense in Georgia? Huh? All of that nonsense that got the All-Star game, the baseball, Major League Baseball All-Star game moved out of Georgia because of it. And then when the new rules come in to Georgia, more people vote in the primary than ever before after she and the President Joe Biden bashed the state for its new rules. Again, mind-boggling. Georgia made it virtually impossible, in their view, for people who could not vote to vote. And yet, gangbusters. And not one person has even mentioned it. It's not even a talking point for Republicans. And then here we are hearing Chuck Schumer saying 20 million people are going to be disenfranchised. Here's Debbie Wasserman Schultz saying the obvious. Most of these people would vote for us. They would never vote for Republicans. But guess what? I'll go one step further on all of this. Why aren't more Democrat voters getting IDs? Why don't they even want them? Why don't they need them? Why would 20 million people who would primarily vote for Democrat policies and Democrat candidates not have an ID? Why is that such a partisan thing to do? I would have never thunk in my lifetime that proper IDs would be a partisan issue. Can you imagine being somewhere and you whipping out your ID and somebody look at you and go, is that your ID? Yes, it is. You must be MAGA. But here we are. It's amazing. Here we are. We come back. Stand by. You're going to want to hear this. You don't want to miss it. It's Reese on the radio.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio right here live on WTIC News Talk 1080. Now, I can always talk about Democrats. In fact, many of my leftist listeners always say, you were always beating up on us. Give us a break. Okay, fine. Start your recording devices. And I've been thinking about this. I've talked about it enough. I don't talk about it a lot, but I've talked about it enough. But I think it has to be said. And I want to give you the opportunity. So the number here is 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Or you could go to my chat room, which is on ReeseOnTheRadio.com, or you can link to any one of the places you like. We're on X, and we're on YouTube as well. I got the chat room sitting in front of me so I can see your comments if you wish to opine. And the question is simple. Who are you voting for? Seriously, who are you voting for? If you don't like Ryan Fazio because he's from Greenwich, and you think that he's a trust fund baby, and you think that he's not a wonk and not a serious candidate, and he is a uniparty person, okay, fine. Who are you voting for? You hate Erin Stewart. You think she's a Nepo baby. Think because her father was in politics and because she was a mayor for, 12 years? And she's just part of the establishment? And she's just like, she goes to all the dinner parties and wherever it is? And she's not really a Republican. She's running away from MAGA or running away from Donald Trump. Okay, who you voting for? Betsy McCoy. She's a carpetbagger, they say. Not a real candidate, not even a real contender. Okay, also from Greenwich. Okay, who you voting for? All the Republicans suck. Who you voting for? The Democrat? Are you voting for Ned Lamont? Or how about far worse? Are you not even voting? I think that it's fair for you to tell the rest of us. Are you going to encourage anyone not to vote? Are you going to keep it as the status quo? Are you going to grenade the whole thing? Any Republican, they just don't meet muster. So they suck. They're done for. Why bother? And you are going to bash every single one of them because you don't like that. The people didn't pick. It's the primary right now. Right now, all three of those individuals, with a fourth, I understand is some guy, Timothy. I'm not really familiar with his name, but he's got no real traction. But you know what? Hey, I don't hear anybody talking about him. Maybe he's the guy that you should throw your vote behind. But again, I got to ask the question, who are you voting for? I know you don't like the three that have gotten plenty of publicity. Who are you voting for? When the chips come down. Now, I'm sorry, I just got to call it like I see it. If you're talking all that smack today, and when election day comes, and it's that person who you can't stand, and then you're ripping to shreds, and you got to vote between Ned Lamont and the Republican, who's a trust fund baby, Nepo baby, or carpetbagger, who you voting for? Who you voting for? Which team are you on? Now, I'm going to tell you the truth. It ain't enough to complain. It's never been enough. A lot of you are addicted to complaining. You get your nourishment from it. But guess what I've never heard? I've heard this person been called that. I heard this person been called this. I hear this and that and this one and third. And I'm posting this and I'm posting that. And again, I hear nothing. So who's the guy? Who's the gal? Who's the person that we should? I never hear a word. So forgive me if I am going to be the person who asks the question, who in the hell are you voting for? Because it sounds to me like you're no different from the news media right here in the state of Connecticut that is ensuring that Ned Lamont gets reelected. So tell me something else. If you're the person who knows so much and you're telling the rest of us that we need to do this, that, and you need to understand and you need to get this, okay, now, what are we voting for? Now forget about who you voting for. Who are the rest of us? Who are the rest of us supposed to vote for? Pick a name. Pull it out of a hat. Pull it out of your rear end. But tell me somebody. I haven't heard a peep. I've heard nothing. Not that you need to have a solution, but you should offer something. Because I'm sitting up here talking about a lot of things. I hear my name dragged in a lot of these conversations, but I don't ever hear anybody saying, hey, Reese, you should go check out this guy or this gal. I get who you don't like. Listen, I could fill a room with half these people who don't like certain things about certain people. At the end of the day, so what? Who you voting for? At some point, the rubber's got to meet the road. I mean, where? The complaints are tired, with all due respect. It's not that your arguments aren't legitimate. They are. But guess what? There is a process here. And when it comes down to it, if you took a big fat dump on everybody who's in contention, if you cannot decide on who it is you're running for, I would say, you know what, I don't like such and such and such, but you know what, damn far better than Ned Lamont. There isn't any of that. There isn't any of that. It is bash, bash, bash. Do they have to be from Greenwich? Does it have to be this person? Does that? It is what it is. But what? What are we voting for? Are you for anything? I talked about this not too long ago. I've got all these people screaming unaffiliated, which means what? You can vote Democrat then? You're unaffiliated. Okay, so that means you have no affiliation to any party. That means that sometimes you vote Democrat. That's what I hear. If somebody says, I'm unaffiliated, but I vote conservative, that would make sense. But saying that I'm unaffiliated means what? Where are your standards? What are you voting for? Everything? What is your litmus test? Anything? Do you have a standard? If you're trying to tell me you're unaffiliated with the party because you don't like Republicans in Connecticut, that's one thing. Say that. Say, I don't like the way that the Republicans run their party here in Connecticut. But unaffiliated, still no explanation to me. And I've asked over and over again. And I've had more people been upset about me asking than actually giving answers, which again gives me all the information I need. So here's your opportunity. I'm just using basic logic from my point of view. Who are you voting for? Who should we vote for? If you don't like any of them, or the people who have actually gone out there and doing it, Aaron Stewart, Ryan Fazio, or Betsy McCoy, if they all suck, who's the candidate? And when they end, like when it happens, where are we? That election's coming in November. And it's going to come, and guess what? If all of the people who are complaining about the three candidates are just waiting for them to lose, then you are not part of the solution. You're not. I haven't seen in 2 weeks, I'll go so far as 16 days, of certain individuals bashing Lamont. And I'm pretty sure that plenty of people can walk and chew gum. Don't like Aaron Stewart, don't like Betsy McCoy, don't like Ryan Fazio? Fine. Do you like Ned Lamont? Do you believe that Ned Lamont is fit for a third term? Where's that? Where's that energy? I don't see it. Unless I missed something. So I'm asking politely. The phone lines are open. If you're unaffiliated and you don't like any of the candidates that are there, who you got? Now, forgive me, but I don't really think this phone's going to ring. I really don't. And with all due respect, if you don't live here, I'm not interested. So if you live here and you don't like these candidates and you ain't supporting Lamont, you got to give me something today. That's all I'm asking. Because I see the tagging me here and the tagging me there and the tagging me in this. And I see it all. And every time I read it, I just go, okay, now what? And I've reached out. Give me something. Because your ire and your anger and your frustration, all that stuff answers nothing for me. I'm a problem solver. It's enough to look at the bum and say, damn, looks like that's going to blow. Do you know how to diffuse it? Nah. So are we supposed to sit around and just watch the numbers just tick down and complain? Forgive me, but I want to solve this issue. And I'm trying to get results. Meet me halfway. We'll take a break. We'll be back. It's Reese on the radio.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio here. Let me see if I can get a few calls in here. Let's go to Armand in Avon. How you doing, Armand? Good to talk to you, buddy.
Hey, good to talk to you, Reese. Thanks for taking my call. So I'm going to ask everybody to clear their mind. Stop asking the question, who do you like? They should be asking themselves the question, who can win? And I'm going to tell you, that's how Democrats operate. We need Aaron at the top of the ticket.
Okay.
Ryan's got to join Aaron's team and bite a bullet for the state and go for the lieutenant governor.
Okay.
And Betsy can take Secretary of State. And why I'm suggesting that?
Okay.
Because Ryan can spend 4 years in the lieutenant governor position, and you see how hard Susan Bisowitz works, right?
Yep.
He could spend 4 years preparing to take the legs out from under Chris Murphy as a U.S. Senator.
That's right.
So, and then if Betsy cares about the state, she can get our current Secretary of the State out of there and fix our election system.
Exactly right.
So that's my suggestion. Everybody has to stop saying, who do I like? If they want this to stop being a Democratic state, they got to pick who can win, and the candidates have to do what's best for the constituency as opposed to just putting their political aspirations first.
Very good point. Now, Armand, you are not alone in exactly how you laid it out in this election on how all three of these people can join together. There is I would have to say, a very popular consensus of people who lay it out just as you did. Aaron Governor, Lieutenant Governor Fazio, and the Secretary of State going to Betsy McCoy. Can you tell me, in your best guesstimation, why you believe that ticket should work in that way, and not even the flip, like saying Ryan Fazio as the top ticket to Aaron Stewart?
I'll tell you why I wouldn't make the flip, but I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So Aaron Stewart's already acquired the municipal management of a city.
Okay.
So she understands the big picture and the umbrella of all the nuance of all the financial and the departmental issues that a leader like that has to deal with.
Okay.
Ryan knows how the legislature works, so he knows what kind of mess is inside the sausage-making factory.
Good point.
You get those two together, they've got a 180 IQ in dealing with both government management and legislative issues.
And Ryan is no flake in that, because look at how successful he was, even though it wasn't it was a good, I would say it's successful in the sense of what he did with Eversource in making that information public. He was able to get that in a Democrat majority, to get that transparency to happen in our Eversource with the public options, a public benefits charge.
I agree wholeheartly. I'm a fan of him, but I would rather see him, from a political career perspective, become a U.S. Senator in 4 years than hang around in Connecticut government.
All right. Thank Armand. It couldn't be put better. I appreciate it. And again, like I said, a lot of people share that exact ticket the way that you displayed it. I'm hearing that over and over again. I hope it resonates with all three of them that if they should, whoever the winner is, that they join forces, because I think it's a formidable group.
All right. Thank you. Take my call, Reese.
My pleasure, sir. Always a good pleasure. Lori is in Glastonbury. Hello, Lori.
Hey there. Thank you for taking my call, and thank God for Armand. That's exactly my exact thought, was that exact ticket, the way he laid it out. Mm-hmm. And the issue becomes Republicans do not rally well. Mm. Democrats have rallying down to a T, but Republicans, for one reason or another, can't get the sticks out of our butts enough to be able to rally and understand that the point is winning, not necessarily getting the person that you like. Mm-hmm. This isn't high school. We need to actually win, so stop focusing on who you like. And so I think that Armand just laid it out perfectly, and I couldn't have said it better myself.
No, and thank you for that. I like I said, I want people to tell me, I get it. People are not happy with the Republicans, and they become sort of, it's almost a knee-jerk reaction or reflexive in a way to just say, this Republican suck and that Republican, they never do anything. I'm like, okay, I've heard that enough. Now what? Right. Because we can repeat that every election cycle. Now what?
And if we don't rally, we're just shooting ourselves in the foot.
Yep.
So everybody just needs to get together and do the ticket that Armand suggested and call it a day.
Without a doubt. Thank you, Lori, as always. Have a good one.
Bye-bye, sir.
Bye. It's important for us to recognize that. It just is. And I don't mean to be harsh, but I've never seen that. Maybe I just come from a different place, but I've never seen that. Where people just dump on the candidates that are there. There is no rally behind it. It's unfathomable. We'll talk about it more when we return. Let's get to the top of the hour news with John Silva. We'll be back. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio.
It's hopeless. We'll never make it. Never. We're done for.
That's glum. That's what they sound like. That's exactly what they sound like.
It's hopeless. We'll never make it. Never.
It's the most wildest thing ever. Again, but it happens. Before I get into the news, which is, again, based on this article that was sent to me over the weekend and posted about, I tried to call Greg Bugbee. He may be avoiding my phone calls like the plague. Reasonably so. I totally get it. And I'll explain that in a second. But let me get to Ryan real quick, who's calling from Coventry. How you doing, Ryan? Thanks for calling.
For you, man. I just wanted to say, a lot of people are going for Aaron here, but did she even agree to do the debate yet?
We are still waiting for that, and we're going to put it to you this way. And I'm not going to say that she's denied or suggest that she's not going to come. We talked to her camp. In fact, we know that they are enthusiastic about doing this debate. That letter is going to come out, I believe, is going to go to them later this week, which they're going to sign off on it, and then we'll have an official word. But they have not poo-pooed it. There was a letter that was sent out from Connecticut GOP, apparently, saying that they wanted to control the debate sort of sessions that were coming up, but they didn't address our debate personally in the letter, which is why there was some, let's just say, hesitance on the part of Aaron's camp. So now that they know that there isn't any sort of backlash on doing our debate, it looks like this is very positive. So we'll find out. When we get the letters back from everyone else, we'll tell everybody who's going to be there and who will not, if that becomes the case.
Yeah, I mean, I'll support whoever wins the primary for sure either way. But I think, just seeing where everything lays right now, I got to lean towards Ryan Fazio for sure. I think he just called a spade for a spade. He's not afraid of anything. I listened to his Zoom call even last night, and he's just, I feel like he's got it all figured out. I feel like Aaron's playing more of the politics.
Right.
And Betsy, as much as I like her, I don't know if that will.
But see, Ryan, here it is. It's okay for you, even if you don't like two of them and you like one. And in your case, you're saying, look, I like Aaron for this reason and that reason, but not for this reason. And I'm going for right. We're at the process where you have to pick and choose. That's what the primary vote is about. You don't have to qualify it. And you shouldn't be made to qualify it. That's why they're all running. They're running for that bid. I don't think that they should be bashing each other. As Betsy said on this show last week, I will not attack my other opponents because they are fine people. Even if I disagree with them, I'm not here to bash them. It is me who wants to be your governor, or at least your candidate for governor, but I'm not going to do it by bashing my opponents, nor should we have to.
No, absolutely. I would like to see, no matter who wins the primary, I'd like to see someone else take, that lieutenant governor election over for Matt Corey. And I love Matt as well, but I just think that you're going to need the strongest ticket possible to be able to.
Good point. Yeah, exactly. We love Matt as well. And I, again, strategically, I get your point of view. With somebody who understands the legislature, which is why Armand was talking about Ryan Fazio. Here's somebody who's like, in essence, he's baked in, right? So even though you believe he should be governor, but I get what Armand is talking about. He's looking at this strategically, how we actually change things in the legislature and working with that sort of inside the beltway, as we would say in Washington. But thank you. I appreciate you, Ryan. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thank you. Take care, buddy.
You got it. Now, Greg Bugbee was a guest on this show last year, and we talked with him twice. He called a third time. And in that phone call, it was after he had met with the folks at C&D, which is an eco-harvesting company run by another guest of ours, Jeff Cordisco. By the way, Jeff Cordisco sent me a note just recently about how he got the contract to remove hydrilla in Massachusetts. Jeff will be here on the show to talk about that in a couple of weeks. But this article that came out in the Hartford Courant over the weekend had quoted Greg Bugbee. Here's the headline. Connecticut lawmakers want streamlined herbicide permitting for invasive infestation damaging waterways. A lawmaker said the marine industry in Connecticut generates about $4 billion. So the article is about clearing hydrilla because they're losing out on a huge revenue stream in aquatic tourism. And that's what it's about. So they break down the article. Legislation to create rapid response program to eradicate noxious invasive weed hydrilla, which has jumped from the Connecticut River to the state's biggest lakes, received a positive reception at public hearing at the legislature. What they don't put in the Hartford Courant article is that no opposition showed up to the hearing last Wednesday. Why? There was no public notice outside of just inside, I think, Connecticut Deep. That was the only publicized note of this public hearing. So virtually no one saw it and no one attended. So most of the speakers were pro-herbicide, one of which was Greg Bugbee, who has been a guest on this show. Now, again, Mark in West Hartford reposted it on X today, and you can see it yourself. In fact, I'll grab the video and I'll post it on Facebook for most of you who don't do X, so you can watch it. And in that interview, Greg Bugbee was introduced to eco-harvesting by C&D. He had just come off of their experiment to remove hydrilla without fragmenting, which means pieces breaking off. And C&D was able to prove, as Jeff Cordisco claimed on this program, that his organization could remove hydrilla without fragmenting, and they could remove it from there without hurting fish, hurting wildlife, and getting rid of hydrilla. They proved it. But what Greg Bugbee said was they would have to go over the cost-effective part of it all. Now, I have made this argument that said it may very well be expensive for Jeff Cordisco and C&D to do this. It may cost more than spending money on the herbicide. The herbicide cost about, $100 a case, something like that. It's really, really cheap. But there are other factors that we need to consider. We will talk to Jeff Cordisco about that when he's on the program. You are not going to believe the research that we found out. And the research is from as old as 2010 as to why they should not use herbicides, in particular, Dequat. And it is very public. Not just because of the water, but try this on for size, bald eagles. And I'll post that. In fact, I'll post that today so you can read it if you're interested. There's a lot to this story. But Greg Bugbee has never had the authority at all to use the eco-harvester. As he said on this program, which you will hear on the tape, we need to have tools in our tool belt. And now they know that they can use eco-harvesting. But this is about a fast and effective way because hydrilla is growing exponentially, and they need to move quickly because they believe that, it's a fact, hydrilla is growing very, very fast. And they may not be able to wait for eco-harvesting. And Greg Bugbee has always been a fan of, let's just say, Dequat or herbicide. He knew nothing about it. He didn't even understand the controversy about using Dequat or Alcothol K. He didn't understand the controversy. We were the ones who alerted him to that, to which he learned about it and said, oh, I didn't know there was another way. We introduced that. So for him to say he is for using herbicides to act now is no different than the position Greg has always stated. And he made no promises to me, nor to you, or to anybody that he would use eco-harvesting. He said he had considered it, and he honored our request to at least experiment on it, which we applaud him for. Now, if I can go one step further, and I hate to be a bragabout, okay? That happened because of this program, and you. All of you who drew attention to this and bringing Greg Bugbee on the show, we got Jeff Cordisco and C&D to meet up with Greg Bugbee. Remember, Jeff Cordisco had tried to reach out to DEEP and to CAES to no avail, and they tried back in 2016. But because of this program, we got both of those folks in a room together. So I'm not disappointed at what Greg Bugbee said. It doesn't even affect what I'm doing. He is not the person I need to turn. The person we need to work on is Richard Blumenthal, because he was the one who provided the funding. He is the person who is providing the funding to use the herbicides. And we need to convince them that they need to find another way before they not just poison the waterways, they poison animals as well, because that is going to happen. But the sneaky part that no one paid attention to here, neither does this article. It doesn't talk about how no one in the public was alerted to this and how the alert was, literally non-existent or practically non-existent. And it also doesn't point out that there's a controversy here. The article talks about how it's widespread support and overwhelming support. They know that's not true because this is the same newspaper that covered the controversy when it happened. So this is a sleight of hand. Well, then again, that's typical of the news media. So again, I have to explain this just because this all gets caught up in this whole, this person is a fraud or this person is a liar. That no one's a liar here. Greg Bugbee didn't even know about eco-harvesting until, he heard about it, but he didn't know what he could do until I actually made that available to him. But he made no promises. And I didn't ask him to because I knew he wasn't in power. And we have this saying, I tell these to my boys all the time at my moving company. When they go to ask people something, never expect a yes from the person who isn't qualified to give it. Never. When you ask yourself, when you ask somebody who keeps telling you no, 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 you have to be able to ask, are you qualified? I start my conversations with someone. When I want something done, when I go to a manager at a store or deal with a restaurant, the first thing I say is, I need to know if you're qualified to give me a yes. And they look at me like, what? I'm like, I'm going to ask you a question and maybe beyond protocol, but I need to talk to someone who has the authority to tell me yes. Not that they will, but I need to talk to somebody who has the authority to say yes. If you don't have that authority, get me the person who does. Never expect a yes from the person who isn't qualified to give it. So Greg Bugbee was a step in that direction. I needed Greg Bugbee to approve of eco-harvesting so that I could present it to Richard Blumenthal. See how that works? It is a process. And the process isn't over yet. So that's kind of the thing that I needed to explain. And I don't talk to you guys enough other than on the air to tell you guys my strategy. Sometimes I reveal very much about my strategies, but some I don't tell anybody about. I don't, because I know a lot of people who kind of blabbermouths, and some people, there are a lot of the naysayers saying, you can't do that. Don't ever give me the odds. Never tell me the odds. I'm a stickler. I lose it when people start telling me what I can't do. It makes me want to do it more. So we got here in general, right? The reason why we got here at all was because we dared, and you have to look at it in that way. Let me get to the phones again. 860-522-WTIC. That is, Ken is in Meriden, I believe. Hey, Ken, how are you?
Hey, Reese, how you doing?
I'm all right, sir. What's up?
You can actually, if you want, you can start just calling me Ken in the car, because when I was from Meriden, I used to live there. I don't live there anymore.
Oh, okay. No problem.
But, whatever. However, it's easier, whatever. Anyway, the reason I called, I came in when you were talking about the three candidates.
Yes.
If you're going to send letters, excuse me, to all three of them, and you had mentioned how Betsy said that she doesn't attack her opponents.
Mm-hmm.
Send a letter to all three of them and say that, I'm not going to attack my opponent. I may attack their stance on something, but I will not attack my opponent.
Yes, that's the reason why we're calling it, Ken, and you may have missed that in the beginning when we first started naming it. I have referred to it as the 11th Commandment GOP gubernatorial debate. So I know it's a long word, a long title, but I have referred to it as the 11th Commandment. The objective is not to bash your opponent. The objective is to present their case to you so that you can make an informed decision about them, not about backbiting or, eye scratching by the three candidates, because it only hurts the party. I believe that whoever is decided to be that person to represent the GOP in Connecticut, I believe that we should be going in with under the impression that we are going to support no matter who that is, and we're going to back them 100% with all of our weight.
I totally agree, and I also believe this is my opinion,
mm-hmm.
that whoever doesn't win, say it just for the sake of argument, Betsy is the one that wins.
Right.
Aaron and Ryan should not only support her, but maybe there's some room for that. Leave it to Betsy.
Yes.
To have them help out in her administration somewhere.
Indeed. Absolutely. I think, again,
because if they're the three top runners for the party, there's no reason why they can't be
unified,
in the administration.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, again, that is a key part in this. And I love the way Armand, laid it out. Let the folks decide during the primary where there isn't a whole bunch of backbiting and screaming and hollering at each other. Oh, your candidate's this and your candidate's that. Let's show a united front as a Republican Party so that when we get there, people know the Republicans are unified. Don't ever give the impression that we've got some beef with each other. because people will take that, they will rip that apart.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
100%. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate you, sir.
All right, thanks for the call, Reese.
You got it, man. Soon. You got it. John is on the line. How are you, John?
Reese, this is John's wife.
Oh, hi. What is your name, ma'am?
My name is Gail, and I haven't been on the phone before.
No problem.
We were originally going to go with Aaron, but we are now going with Betsy as far as the vote.
Okay.
Betsy McCoy because of her tax plan, and I hope that Aaron and the other opponent sticks by her side and.
I think it's a winnable look. It's a winnable argument, trying to make Connecticut a no tax state or no income tax state. It's lofty, but you know what? It's something that we've seen done in other states. In fact, I was just looking at an article on X that says, look, there are a lot more states who are thinking about implementing the same policy. So it's not audacious. It's actually possible.
Absolutely. And I have John here in the background. He might have a word or two to say.
John, real quick, what do you got?
Pick it up.
Thank you guys. Thank both of you. I really appreciate it. I do have to go to a break in a minute, but thank you for your call. It's we're coming up on a break. Well, everybody else is online right now. Stay there. I'm going to get to you. I promise you. After the next after the bottom of the hour news. So stand by there if you can, and I'll get to you for it. With Ed, you're next in South Windsor. I'll get to you. Again, this is the argument that I'm making today, and we'll talk about it all day. I'll take the phone calls all day, even if I move on by subject. If you are not happy with either one of these candidates, who are you voting for? If you think that they're all the worst candidates ever, are you not showing up at all? Are they so reprehensible that you're going to show up and you're going to leave your vote out of the process, giving more opportunity for Ned Lamont to stay in power? And explain that strategy to me. That's in my head. Forgive me if I don't get it. Okay? So that's why I'm asking. Because I believe that any one of these three are far more capable than Lamont is. And one of them is older than the guy. And she's got a lot more firepower in her pinky. That's just my view. All right. We'll take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views. It's Reese on the radio.
Listen to WTIC News Talk 1080 on the free Odyssey app. Download and like WTIC today for alerts on special programming.
We're back. Reese on the radio. Calla and Cole, Misty. I think I saw them driving around. There wasn't one time where I was at home over the weekend, Lori. I know I saw them real briefly as I drove by, and I was kind of sad that I didn't get to say hello. But please tell them that I said hello. Anyway. And maybe we'll see them, I don't know, the weekend after. But we'll see them soon. Let me get to the phones real quick. I do want to get into this article that the Hartford Courant had about whether or not the Connecticut bills were going to pass. And I want to talk about that at some length today. Ed is in South Windsor. Thanks for holding for me, Ed. How are you?
I'm doing great. They also call me Club Ed out of South Windsor.
Okay.
I am a Vietnam veteran.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you for your service.
And you're welcome. Thank you for your support. And one of the topics I'm really concerned about is this herbicide spraying or this herbicide treatment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a victim of Agent Orange.
Ooh. Okay.
All right. So far, 500 of us veterans are dying a month.
Goodness gracious.
Because of the plain and simple fact that our government lied to us.
Okay. I can see exactly why that would be of concern, and it should be.
It is. And when you mentioned that that you saw them doing this with hazmat suits, that hit a real big.
It wasn't. No. They weren't wearing hazmat suits. Was the concerning part. And these were the organizations that are doing this, which is this company called Solitude out of Massachusetts. The scary part about it is that they're using a company in another state to treat the waters in Connecticut. Completely insane. Not that we don't have those companies here, because I looked up and we do. but they were using this, in essence, this out-of-state company, and they did not have one, the proper material. 2, they were dropping boxes, which we caught on video, dropping boxes into the cove. We watched that and caught it on video. They just dropped the box. He drives the fan boat, and the box just slides. You know how, when you're driving something and everything slides one way, slides behind? Yeah, sure enough, box just slides off and just ends up in the water, which he's got to turn around and pull the thing up. And it was not managed by the Army Corps of Engineers, whom they told us would be there to monitor it.
Wow. Oh, Jesus. My God.
So I totally get your concern, and being on the water watching this as it happened showed me exactly how deceitful this whole process was.
Deja vu. All over again.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed.
All over again.
You know what I'm going to do? I don't know, Ed, I don't know if you are on Facebook or on any of social media, but if you are and you follow this show, I'm going to post at the end of the show this article that Jeff Cordisco of C&D sent to me. He is the Eco Harvester. They own the C&D company that does this. He sent me this article, I'm almost certain it's from 2010, where they investigated the use of DEQUAT in the waterways. And in that investigation, it found out that the eagles, the bald eagles that were eating fish or other wildlife in the waterways, saw brain degeneration after. It's a wild story. And the reason why I brought it up is because it's just one story that no one ever reported on after the fact. And you can imagine why. Because the Army Corps of Engineers, that's 1, EPA, that's 2, and local governments want to use this stuff, so they bury this kind of science.
What's going to happen to us if we eat fish?
Exactly my point. And again, here's the thing, and this was my argument a long time ago. If indeed this treatment of the waterways is safe and effective, and that's what they keep saying, it's safe and effective, why do we have to spend millions of dollars for 3 years worth of study after the fact?
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason for a study if it's safe and effective. We're spending money after. Sorry, go ahead.
We were told the same thing.
Yes, I knew it. I knew that would spark that memory in you. Again,
we were told the same. Oh, it's not going to hurt you. It's only going to kill the plants.
Exactly.
Do you realize the C-123s that they brought in from Vietnam that supposedly they cleaned were all contaminated?
Mm-hmm.
I have an associate that graduated high school with me, was in the Air National Guard in the Midwest, and got heart disease. Turned out to be he flew in C-123s.
Wow.
They're still contaminated. Again,
this is the reason why we're fighting against it. And again, it's not like the press didn't know that there was. They went after Chris Webby, the rapper, for misinformation. They're saying that, we're well informed and everybody's well informed about this, but yet there was no public notice. We heard about the bills for homeschooling in the news. We heard about the bills against gun rights in the newspapers. We heard everything about the COVID mandates that were proposed by Governor Lamont. Those were all in the news media on Wednesday, and I think that was the 15th. I'm almost certain that this hearing on the use of herbicides in the water was on that same day. Not one blip in the news media about it.
I wish I knew.
Yeah, me too. So that's where we are. Go ahead.
Okay, changing the topic real quick. I got one quick question, and then we'll be in the conversation.
Yes, sir.
How many people realize that just because you register in a political party, does that mean you have to vote for that person in that political party?
I don't think I hope no one thinks that, but you're right.
I'll tell you what. I was at Musquamacut Beach one time years ago at some sort of festival and whatnot, and there was a few people there. And we're talking about voting, and they told me, well, when we were brought up, all they said was pull the top lever.
Huh.
They knew nothing else, what else to vote for, not the person or anything else. So my question is this: just because you register for a political party, does that mean you have to vote for that party?
No. If that person is against your own conscience, no. I absolutely.
How many people are aware of that?
I hope they all are. I'm with you. If they're not, then we've got bigger problems.
I'll tell you what, some of the people I talk to out there's a possibility.
You might be right. Thank you, Ed. I appreciate you holding on.
All right. Talk to you later.
You got it, sir. Let's go to Bob in Waterbury. How are you, Bob?
I'm good. How you doing, Ray?
I'm all right, sir. What do you got for me?
When is the convention where we vote for the winner of the Republican Party?
August?
August, September, October.
I think it's August.
That's like a long time.
It is.
I mean, this is just
not that long, but it's long enough.
I just think our three candidates are all pretty good. You know, they all have their negatives. They should all go out to dinner sometime, have a nice dinner, and they should choose amongst themselves. And whatever order they come out, we start the next day and start campaigning as a whole team right then and there.
I don't think that any of these people, Bob, I don't think any of these people have any personal animus towards each other because they've never worked together in any way.
What I'm saying is just too much time is wasted between now and August. Any order they come out with would be way better than what we've been doing for the last 20, 30 years. You know, and we could spend more time. I know most people don't remember what they did yesterday,
right?
But they don't have to really start hardcore politicking, you know. But it was just a lot better to be together as a team, you know, from now until the general election and until August.
Like I said, we've got some time, and I think anyone who is taking a victory lap on polling data at this point, be it February or even March for that matter, is, look, you start bragging about that, you've got another thing coming, because it's kind of embarrassing when the tides switch on you. Anything could happen in the next couple of months. So I'm hoping people take that in consideration.
I agree. One more thing. We can't screw with Mother Nature. When I was younger, I think I heard something like a shot full of gasoline can really contaminate like a whole Olympic-side pool.
Yeah.
I don't. But hey, and now we want to put herbicides in the rivers. That's not too good.
Yeah, I wish the people who are promoting this start having real conversations with everyone about all of the information they do have on it, and stop making the argument, well, the EPA says it's okay. That's not enough in this forum. It's not enough to say the EPA approves it, because there's plenty of stuff that our federal government has approved that have been absolutely detrimental to our livelihood. So I'm not going to agree with that. Right. Thank you, sir.
Hey, let those guys fill up a pool where they're swimming in all summer. We'll talk to them in 5 months.
Exactly. Thanks, boss. I appreciate you. It's it's not going to be enough to tell me, sure, the EPA is fine. Okay. I'll never forget that story. What was it? 25% of FDA-approved drugs have been recalled. 25%. That's an incredible number. And then, what did we find out a couple of years ago? That the FBI's sort of vetting process, or how it indeed pushed through medication, was a really, really underhanded scheme with the people who were approving this drug and that drug, who had their little grubby hands dirty on the other side. It's always the same case. Just always is. We got to take a break. Coming up, let me see. What do we have? Oh, stupidest thing I read today. That's coming up. You young people, boy, are you freaky. We'll get into that as well. We got music news coming up in a little bit. And I have to talk about this only because of where we are culturally. I have to talk about the Oscars. And I know that a lot of people say, I don't watch them anymore. I don't watch them anymore. But there's something the Oscar folks need to understand. And those who still watch it, some of you need to understand this. And we'll talk about that as well. I forgot. We got to talk about whether or not these Connecticut bills are going to pass. That's an important thing to talk about. And I had another story here. Why am I? No, I think that was it. Yeah, we got some other stuff to get into as well. So stick around for that. We'll return. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
I want to thank everybody who has checked out the Reese on the radio Substack. It's called the Reese on the Radio Rundown. It runs every week, Sunday morning at about 7:30. It's great Sunday morning reading, if I do say so myself. I'm working on it like it's Saturday night, and I am up to all hours working on this. So I just want to let you know that I am very dedicated to doing this. And I was thinking about it. I was like, should I write any more than that? And I'm like, no. I looked it up, and it says the strategy is actually pretty good, just to do a weekly column. So I'll try to keep that up. I have been so far doing it for a lot of months now. I just looked at it. I was just like, wow, I've been really, really writing a lot of these. And it is growing. And I was very impressed that if you don't go to Substack, if I left it exclusively on Substack, a lot of you wouldn't read it because apparently you don't go there. But a lot of you, and you have to subscribe at Substack in order for it to go into your inbox. And I know a lot of people don't like a lot of emails coming to them. It's sort of an annoyance. Get it. But I was just looking this morning, and I posted in what's called, X, Twitter for that matter, has a section called articles, and I post it there as well. And the last check, it is well over 2,000 views, and people have been responding to it and reposting it. Thank you. This week's article is talking about those legislative proposals, those bills, and humorously talks about how ridiculous most of them are, especially the helium one, which is the most insane thing. I look at these stories and I go, this is impossible that we are trying to legislate helium. For what reason is helium? And I keep saying to myself, is Connecticut this crazy? That somebody woke up and said, yeah, helium. That's not even the craziest part, folks. It's not the first time they've tried this. And they're doing it again. And this article in the Hartford Courant asked the questions, will these Connecticut bills pass anyway? Yes, of course they're going to pass. Look, every one of these people are arrogant. And of course the citizens have given them a supermajority, and they're about to protect their vote. Oh, baby, they're about to protect their vote as well. It is going to be virtually impossible to challenge these monarchs in a few short months. And it'll get to the point where you, and I keep trying to tell the left, I know you don't care. You can sit there and applaud. Yeah, the Republicans are going to be so angry, but they will leave. After a while, they'll come for you and your paychecks too. But I know you're a noble group. You will be happy to give up half your income to take care of those who can't take care of themselves until you say quietly, can't take it, and then you'll leave. And it will be, I don't know, a majority of people who can't afford to take care of themselves, and then the rest of you who can. And you'll be forced to take care of them. But you noble folks, I'm sure you'll stay. I'm sure you won't even bother to manipulate the tax code to your advantage so that you don't get taxed too much. But yeah, keep going down the road to ruin. It's not like every other place hasn't realized it yet. They have. They have. Your time's coming where you will realize it too. So, I don't know. Doesn't mean that we're not going to keep working. I'm going to keep working. I'm almost certain my strategy is sound. We'll keep working it. I can't wait to. Boy, when this stuff passes, I think we got to vote on it on Wednesday, don't we? Yeah. We'll be watching. I'll be watching intently. We'll get to that. We will. Oh, that day's coming. Let's get our first check of weather and traffic. Our good friend Mark Christopher. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. How was your birthday, Mark?
It was very good.
Yeah?
Very good, yeah.
I love the traffic light cake story. It is phenomenal. You have to, well, I hope you posted it online for everybody to see. It's a great story.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We're back. Reese on the radio right here on WTIC News Talk 1080. Hey, it's Brian Shackman. He's on the news screen right now. Brian Shackman, look at him. He's on TV. So it's just weird when I see somebody I know and they're on TV. I wonder what my family was like when I was on TV. When they freaking, I was like, hey, it was my dad. Anyway, when we come back, I want to talk about the Oscars just a little bit. Talk about that. Plus, we'll take your phone calls. My question to you is, those of you who you can't stand Aaron, you can't stand Ryan, you can't stand Betsy, pick up the phone and tell me, who are we voting for then? Just who are we voting for? We just want more Lamont? We're going to do the Lamont thing again? Just going to give them another blank slate? We're going to tell Democrats, nah, we haven't had enough abuse. Let's do more. Let's do more. You think the crazy bills that we've seen just recently, regulating helium, gun parts, vaccine mandates held by one person, homeschooling mandates. Scary part about this, the homeschooling mandates, the thing that makes me cringe about this is that Martin Looney isn't even, shy about the fact that he wants to control the curriculum at homeschooling. What are you teaching your child? And does it meet our mark? Kids are going to college early, joining Ivy League institutions, master's degrees at remarkable ages. And Martin Looney says, how can we get you to lower your standard to public schools? That's the win. It's about public safety. It's about public safety. Don't you want your child to be safe? Yeah, but I'm the child's mother. Are you? But do you care? Do you? I don't know. All of it's crazy to me. I couldn't be in front of these people. I would ask them a bunch of questions. I know you would too. I know a lot of you would too. Also, later on in the program, I want to talk about that dividing sort of political line. I didn't know this, but it turns out that most parents who homeschool their children are Republican or conservative. That's weird. I don't know why I didn't see that. It's interesting. I should have known that. I should have. Really should have been right there. Tongue placed firmly in cheek. Let's get another check of our weather and traffic. Mark Christopher is here. He is at BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Would you have homeschooled the kids if you could?
Are you kidding? No way. No way. I was not exactly the head of my class, let's put it that way.
Wait, so you are of plenty of parents who are just are excited for the school year to come around, get these people out of my house. Are you
well, no, I like having them around, but yeah. I have no, I can add, subtract, multiply, divide, maybe read at a third grade level. After that, it's not very promising.
I know. I totally get it. Look, a lot of parents think the idea of homeschooling can be a little daunting.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Let me prove something. I want to throw something out to everybody listening right now. I'm going to do something a little bit draconian. I'm going to hold my phone up to the microphone. Joey, by the way, Joey Burgoyne in the house. Joey, if you can listen to me, I want to thank you for this because you're about to make me prove something. I am looking at this CD that was given to me by DJ Buck, who is on our sister station, Hot 93.7, as I like to call them. This is from November 28, 2005. And that would put us at where? How long ago would that put us? 21 years, almost 21 years. Okay? So let's say 20 and a half years. This is Reese on the radio on Hot 93.7. Again, just over 20 years ago. And there's this one piece, because I say it on this program. Now, being a host on WTIC, living here in Farmington, in Connecticut. So just to prove it to you, that when I say to you that I love Connecticut, I never lied. This, again, almost 21 years ago.
I'm good. It's good to be here. Drove in yesterday with the wife. Came to stay with some friends here in Connecticut. Connecticut is turned into my new home. I mean, I'm original New York boy, so Hollis, Queens, Run DMC town.
Wow. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Took it right back there, didn't you?
Well, people still know Run DMC, Run's house. Hollis, Queens. Yeah. So
I like Run's house.
I love that show.
That's a great show.
Yeah, absolutely. So coming up here, it's I was up here for about a year and just fell in love with Connecticut. Connecticut has embraced me, and it's really not a bad place at all. It's the new home.
Just so you know. Okay? That's never changed. Just so you know, that's never changed. I was only here a year, and about a year and a couple of months, before I had to go back to New York. So I always felt that. And I came back here in 2005 to be on Hot 93.7, and I still to this day have felt that way. So it's not phony. There's your proof and your evidence right there. Okay? Just want to make sure I got that out of the way. Okay, now, to the Oscar Awards. By the way, if you want to call in, the number's 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. It's difficult to watch the Oscar Awards, and primarily for one reason. Back in the days, I always watched the Oscars. It was funny. Sure, there'd be some politics thrown in here and there. That's usually the case. Doesn't matter what year it was, 70s, 80s. Somebody would throw in some politics. There'd be some weird stuff going on. But it wasn't enough to, it wasn't saturated. So it was overall entertaining, and then you had that little, still silly thing that went on. And that's how it goes. But it's not the point. The reason why it sucks to watch the Oscars today is because you have never heard of the movies that are being celebrated. You haven't even seen them. I've been on this show for so long, every time I had to stop doing Hollywood news. Why? Because it turns out none of you cared. None of you care. I love movies. I'm a big movie fan. It sucks that I don't always get to the movies because it's not always good. The movies I have to go to, I got to see Spider-Man. I have to see the Avengers movies or some superhero film. I can't even go in there and see, some really, really good, thought-provoking film. Can't go see them. Because they suck. And they all have this, teachable moment that's here in the film. I was looking at this. Ted Cruz posted this on X. This is also very, very saddening to me. It turns out somebody got a hold of the criteria for the best Oscar or Best Picture Oscar. And according to the folks at the Oscars, it says that the movie that is being considered must face this criteria. An African-American, Black, or African or Caribbean descent actor must be in the film. East Asian, including Chinese, Japanese, Korean, and Mongolian. Hispanic, Latino, you know the drill. They run through all of them. The one thing that they don't include, white. At least 30% of all actors not submitted for an Oscar consideration from at least 2 underrepresented groups: women, racial or ethnic group, LGBTQ+, people with cognitive or physical disabilities, or are deaf or hard of hearing. The main storyline subject matter must be about women, racial or ethnic group, LGBTQ+, people with cognitive or physical disabilities. They must be represented in these films. So Ted Cruz did this. He wrote, these are the films that would not be allowed in the Best Picture category. Here's the list. Let me see, Roland, if you remember any of these films or if you've seen any of them. You know what? Get on the mic just because. And you will tell me if you have seen this film or not seen it. And you can also chime in if you've heard of the film. Based on this new criteria, these are the films that you would not see. Casablanca. Seen it?
Yeah, of course. It's a classic.
All right. My Fair Lady.
Yep.
Okay. The Sound of Music.
Yep.
It's all white cast.
Yep.
All white cast. Patton. About General Patton.
No, I haven't.
Probably not. George Segal. Yeah. Amadeus.
Nope.
No? Okay. That's an 80s film. You probably wouldn't know that one. How about this one? Unforgiven. Clint Eastwood directed. Morgan Freeman. Gene Hackman.
Yep.
Western film. That's a brilliant film, by the way. Schindler's List.
Of course.
Okay.
Classic.
All right. Ooh, that's right.
My mom watched all these movies. That's why.
Forrest Gump.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Who didn't?
Yeah.
It wouldn't.
Bubblegum Shrimp.
Yeah, it
Louisiana.
would not qualify. The Titanic would not qualify.
Dang.
Yeah, there are no blacks in that movie.
Why she threw that jewel away? I'm still mad at that movie.
Wow, another one, a great film, very inspiring. In fact, was very inspirational to the rapper Nas. Braveheart.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah, without a doubt. I don't know who hasn't seen it. Gladiator.
Yeah.
People still reference that movie.
Yeah, that's when I became a fan.
Of Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
A Beautiful Mind, ironically, another Russell Crowe film on the list. Also Oscar winner. Another Oscar winner, which, by the way, I love one of the songs in there called He Had It Coming, which was Chicago, based upon the Broadway play. Yeah, Chicago, the musical. Ooh, I know you're going to love this one. Another all-white film, The Departed by Martin Scorsese.
Is that with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Leonardo DiCaprio, Mark Wahlberg, Matt Damon, Alec Baldwin.
Any those three that you just named?
Yeah.
Any movie that they do, I watch.
Yeah, exactly. No Country for Old Men. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I never saw that. In fact, I hear it's a little gruesome.
A lot of killing.
Yeah, there's a lot of killing in that film. And last but not least, and again, you couldn't make this film in order to join this category of Best Picture, The Godfathers 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Is that insane?
Yeah.
Based upon the new criteria, all of those films would have to be removed.
When did the criteria change?
I don't know, but I guess within the last couple of years, in order to be inclusive. But these films would never, in essence, they wouldn't qualify if this was a standard that back during the years that these films were made. They wouldn't qualify. It's insanity.
Are they even making those type of films anymore?
No, of course not. That's the reason why they're straight garbage. They're absolute garbage. That's the reason why. I wouldn't do it. I mean, this is insanity. But again, look, that list alone, and I can name a couple of films that I did not even watch. Do you know I've never seen Schindler's List?
Oh, you gotta watch it. It's long. It's long.
I know it's long. Part of the reason why I won't see it. But I've seen Amadeus. I didn't think that was a great film. I've seen Patton. Sound of Music is one of my favorite musicals. My Fair Lady. I love that movie.
Of course.
And in fact, I always sort of quote, just you wait. Henry Higgins was my favorite. But what's the other one? No Country for Old Men is the only one I haven't seen here, and A Beautiful Mind. Those are the only two on this list that I haven't seen. Oh, wait a minute. There are more lists to this. I totally missed that. Oh, Ben-Hur and Gone with the Wind. Both wouldn't make it. And don't forget, the first Black Academy Award winner is it Hattie McDaniel for Gone with the Wind, Best Supporting Actress.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, in essence, she wouldn't be qualified It's absolutely insane. So it bugs me out.
You know, I don't think I ever seen Gone with the Wind.
You haven't?
I've seen like
it's long.
Yeah, I've seen like clips of. I never sat and watched the entire thing.
It's a lot to take in. It is an epic drama of nonsense. It is so bad. It's just not my cup of tea, but I get why the ladies love it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's a weird love story. It's set with the Civil War. It's a lot of stuff going on.
That's why they like Outlander too. That show.
Yeah, the Outlander TV show. Yes.
Back in time.
My wife is a big fan of that show. Yeah, she's crazy about that. That's not my cup of tea. In fact, Roseanne was recently watching it, and it was happening. I had gone to the store, ran a few errands, and got back. It was still on, and it had another hour left. It was insanity. I couldn't believe how long that movie was. I was like, and it's funny because I kept up with it because it's such an epic movie, like a sort of an epic saga, if you will.
Yeah, didn't they do that in parts though when they put it on TV?
It is.
So that was like essentially one of the first series.
Yes. You could do it as a sort of limited series. Yeah, as you will. You know what it reminds me of? Another film that was really, really big back in the days. What was the Richard Chamberlain movie? That was before Shogun. Shogun was one of the films that I actually did like, but the one before it where he's a priest in love with goodness gracious, it's not coming to me, but it will. I'll look it up. But Richard Chamberlain. It'll come to me. A lot of ladies.
It was a miniseries?
Yeah, it was a miniseries.
The
Thornburgs. That's it. That's the one. Huge movie. I mean, you thought on Lonesome Dove was an epic.
I did see that.
You did see that.
And I've seen The Good, the Bad, the Ugly.
The Thornburgs it was it was so long. And then we had Shogun, which was another one. That's a great, it's a really, really good miniseries. And Richard Chamberlain was one of those guys who did those great ones. To lodge all power in one party to keep it there. Okay, I'll read that later. Bruce, I apologize. It's just a little off subject. We'll get to all of that in a little bit. When we return to Stupidest Thing I Read Today, funeral homes are now offering a meditation for teenagers. I'll explain when we return. Don't miss that. Also, we've got some great music news and a whole lot more. I've got audio sound bites that we need to get to in the next hour or so. So stand by for that. Let me go. You know what? Let me see if I got. It's not good. Yeah, give me a minute. Why not? Let's go to Gio real quick in Ken. What's going on, Gio?
Reese, how are you?
I am great, sir. What do you got?
I was listening to the Oscars thing. It sounds like DEI got Hollywood. The funny thing that I found funny was that you said that there was no black people on the Titanic, and it got me thinking, like, what black family would be able to afford to get on the Titanic?
Hold on. There were poor people on there. There were poor people on that boat.
I mean, I only did a quick Google search when you had made it. I searched up how many black people were on the Titanic.
Yeah.
And my Google result only got one person. So I would say that the Titanic movie is pretty accurate as it is. I just thought that was hilarious.
But it wouldn't have made, that's what I'm saying, it wouldn't have made the Oscars. Like, we can't do a movie about the Titanic, which in essence would say the only movie that would qualify is Soul Plane. And everybody knows that plane should have been hit with an iceberg. But anyway.
Yep.
No, it was not. Roland said that Soul Plane was a great movie. Real quick, I'm sorry, Gio. Real quick before I go to a break.
Oh no, I was gonna say I don't want to talk about anything else to be off topic. But that's the only thing.
I appreciate you. Thank you, Gio. Man, have a good one.
You too. Bye bye.
You got it. So it was a movie. I'll tell you this real quick. So I would get these tickets when we were up here in Connecticut. They would give us these movie tickets to go see films and, of course, talk about it on air. So they gave us tickets to go see this film called The Cookout. I think Queen Latifah is either in it or produced it. And I remember I took the family. So I've got Ethan, I got Ayla, and I've got my ex, well, at the time, Claudia. We're all sitting there watching the movie. And Ethan looks at me. We're 20 minutes into the film. And Ethan looks up to me and he goes, "Dad?" And I go, "Yeah, buddy." He goes, "Did we do something wrong?" I went, what? He goes, this movie's awful. Are you punishing us? I'm like, yeah, let's get out of here. That was such a bad movie. He's like, are you punishing us? I'm like, no. He goes, then why are we here? Because this sucks. So we ended up leaving. I still have not seen The Cookout. And for good reason. It was straight trash. By the way, it made Soul Plane look like an Oscar winner. God awful. Mark Christopher is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center, who's seen none of those films, even in passing. You're missing nothing. You're missing nothing.
That's what I love about the Oscars. It's all the movies nobody's ever seen.
Exactly.
That's the great thing about it.
Exactly. Imagine this. Imagine your worst flight ever, Mark Christopher. That's the movie Soul Plane. That's it in
really?
a nutshell. Yeah, it's that bad. In fact, seriously, it's that bad. It's that bad of a film.
Now, Roland's saying in my ear, it's a great movie. So
don't listen to me. In this case, I'm just going to say who you going to trust. But we'll get to that later.
Ghostbusters, that's who I'm going to trust.
Yeah, there you go.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC. News Talk 1080.
Oh, wow, it is time. I just realized what it was. Look at that.
Yes, you do. Stupid as can be. This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
What is the stupidest thing I've read today? Well, it turns out that Japanese funeral homes are now offering coffin meditation sessions to fight youth suicides. Will it come here? Looks like it. In Japan, coffin lying meditation has become a full-blown trend, with people paying $13 for a 30-minute session inside an actual casket at spas and funeral homes to comfort mortality and to spark a renewed desire to live. Grave Tokyo designer Makako Fuse creates colorful, cute coffins to make the experience less scary. While participants report the claustrophobic solitude helps reset worries and banish thoughts of death. The practice emerged amid a record youth suicide rate and draws on cultural traditions of memorial services. Workshops at universities let students try it, with testimonials describing how facing reversible death eliminates fear and boosts appreciation for life. It's marketed alongside traditional therapy as a bold mental health tool. I don't think that doing that kind of practice is cool to do. You should not do that to kids. I think it's traumatic. I think if you do something like that to a kid, he will think about it forever. I think it makes them cautious, too cautious. I could think of all of the things. I mean, in my head, I'm saying, I get because I don't understand this whole suicide ideation thing, at least in its present form. I know that teenagers battle with this a lot. And I, as a teenager, I thought about this. But in a sense of I jokingly said this once, and I don't mean to make light of it. It's like I'm too much of a chicken. There's a part of me that just says, that looks like that'll hurt. But that's not the result. You know what I mean? It's like it shows the self-preservation sort of creeping in, if not abundant, right there. If you're thinking about it in a sense that goes, yeah, I would do that, but it feels like that would hurt. That won't matter after the fact, which to me is a telltale sign that you don't want to do this if you're thinking about the pain it might cause. So, but I think I think it would be a traumatic thing to put a kid through. So people are thinking about bringing this here into the United States, as the articles suggest. Please don't. The kids have enough mental problems. I think that's why we're here. Let's get another check on traffic and weather. Mark Christopher is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
The NAACP calls him, whoa, I don't think I'm allowed to read this.
It's Reese on the radio.
Let's just say some people are not fans. On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We are back, Reese on the radio. Tomorrow on Negro Nonsense, we'll break down Jasmine Crockett's bodyguard. Yeah, I'm sure you all heard the story about Jasmine Crockett's bodyguard. Anybody heard from her lately? We'll get all the details on that tomorrow. Connecticut, I hope you're prepared, because I am. And it was a long time coming. And we could see this in the next couple of months. But I'm going to find a way to keep track of this. Because you may have heard that the president and the vice president signed an executive order today where they are going to be going into the corruption in each state that is happening, the widespread corruption that is happening state to state. And that means Connecticut is on the list. No matter where it's happening, red states, blue states, everybody's getting an audit. And I hope Connecticut is ready. I haven't heard any politicians talking any smack. They have been incredibly quiet, but we'll see. It just happened recently. And anyone who thinks that Stephen Miller is the least bit interested or scared of you knuckleheads who are saying, we need to get rid of Stephen Miller, that bigot, racist, white supremacist. Stephen Miller's going nowhere. He's going nowhere. He is Donald Trump's pit bull. And I got to say it, I kind of like his tactics. But here he is in the Oval Office talking to the press. In no way is he being silenced or subdued or told to dial it back. Oh, no. Here he is here.
The illegal flow across the southern border was stopped completely. But what we found since President Trump came into office is that the Democrats have set up a system to funnel hundreds of billions and ultimately trillions of dollars to migrants that are in our country, oftentimes from places like Somalia. So as an example, ICE recently asked a group of illegal immigrants that were in detention whether or not they were receiving Medicaid. Half of them raised their hands and volunteered that they were on Medicaid. Just volunteered that. These aren't the ones who are hiding it, right? They also asked illegal aliens how they paid their medical bills, and they said that if they don't have Medicaid, they go to hospitals, they get free care there, and they bill it to the taxpayers. So they aren't paying for any of their own health care in this country. This is one example. And we've seen this over and over and over again. So under President Trump's leadership, and then, of course, with J.D. and the head of the FTC, Andrew Ferguson, we're going to see the first ever effort in American history to reclaim the ultimately trillions of dollars that were stolen from taxpayers. I believe, and I know President Trump believes, that when this theft is exposed, we will see that if all of it were stopped, it would be enough to balance the budget. The extraction of wealth from American taxpayers to people who don't belong here is the primary cause of the national debt, and this is the first ever effort to shut that down. Thank you, Mr. President.
First ever. And everyone knows they've been cheating for years. It's the first.
So that was Stephen Miller. And I can't wait. I'm going to find a way. I'm going to find out who it is that's tracking all of it here in Connecticut. I want to find out who the agents are or whoever the people are who are going through the numbers. But I want to hear from our elected officials. Where's the X post and the Facebook post today? I want them screaming and hollering about, oh, the corruption. Bob Duff, where you at? Where you at, Bobby? Isn't this Bob Duff? Do I have Bob Duff here? I think I have him here. Wasn't Bob Duff talking a whole bunch of smack just the other day? Here he is, Bob Duff. Listen to him.
Let's just be real for a second here. They've got nothing to run on. They got nothing. They're going to try to create some sort of like stories, some sort of chaos, some of the stuff happening, and we're in the process of governing. They want to talk about corruption. They can talk about the $4 billion richer that their nominee, the man who sits in the Oval Office, is right now. Then he
the nominee. The nominee of what?
the day he got sworn in as President of the United States. That's corruption. You want to talk about corruption, about when his people short the stock market so that they can buy stocks before the decision is made, and they make millions of dollars?
Is he talking about Nancy Pelosi?
They can talk about that. They want to talk about people who are their friends around the world who are getting these no-bid contracts, like the private jails, like the other ICE detention centers, like things around the world that are happening, like a private jet that's coming to him, all the other things that are
A private jet? You mean the Qatar Air Force One? What are you talking about? Bob, you're scrambling here, big guy.
happening. Let's have that conversation. But until then, this building is for governing. We're not running a campaign for governor out of the third floor of this LOB.
Somebody said, is it me or does he sound nervous? Is it me? Because I hear nervous coming out of his voice. There's a lot of, is he not prepared for this speech? Everybody knows the corruption's happening in Connecticut. Is he scared that Republicans are gaining traction here in the news media, that they're covering it? Sounds like it.
We were governing here. They want to have those conversations. We can have those conversations. But let's talk about who the head of your party is, the grift, the corruption, and all the things that have happened over the last year that have made him and his friends richer through this Epstein administration.
Is that supposed to be like to thwart the McCrory investigation? Because I hope it is. If this corruption comes back right to Senator McCrory, I want to know where Bob Duff is going to be, and everyone should run to him and say, hey, man, I thought you were ready to talk about corruption. Let's have that convo now.
That has made average people, working people, senior citizens poorer.
Right? And you mean in the state of Connecticut?
Hungrier, homeless.
Why are they hungrier and homeless in Connecticut? You have a supermajority here. What do you mean they're hungry and homeless? Here? What, you guys haven't delivered a utopia yet? How long is it going to take?
And in a state of confusion and a state of chaos.
You couldn't be more right, sir. State of confusion and a state of chaos indeed.
That's what's happened. So I know they want to talk about those things. We're going to talk about those things.
You rumbling, bumbling, rambling knucklehead. What are you talking about? Goodness gracious, these people. In some cases, I agree with the people who are mad at the Republicans. I'm like, I can't believe we're losing to that guy. I'm not going to. I'd be ticked off, too. Like, I can't believe I'm losing to these people. But they are. Oh, that's going to change. That's got to change. Let's get Mark. Is he calling from? Vernon. Hey, what's going on, Mark?
Hey, Reese, I really enjoyed your monologue this afternoon.
Thank you.
In regards to the Democrats not helping these so-called 20 million get their IDs.
Yes.
Two other points I want to make.
Yeah.
And that is, Schumer said that they wouldn't be able to vote. Well, we never told them that. The Republicans never told them that they couldn't vote.
Right. Never.
Okay. And secondly, why, if they actually are going to be if they're going to be on the rolls,
yes,
then they probably, if they don't get removed and they show up at the polling booths without an ID, they're still not going to be able to vote.
Yes, exactly.
So if we do nothing about the rolls and leave the rolls as Chuck Schumer wants us to leave them, and we pass the law, like, okay, fine, we'll leave the list the way it is, and when you show up, you still won't be able to vote because you won't have an ID. That's the purpose of the law.
That's exactly the purpose of the law. And again, I've heard enough of the nonsense about, certain people are not going to be able to get their ID. The only pushback I would like, Mark, and it's a simple one. I wish, of course, you will never get it from the folks at MSNBC or CNN, for that matter. I would say to those folks, it's not like you have to wait months for a birth certificate to make it to your door via the mail. You can get your birth certificate, even if you have to go down to the office and get a copy. The return on that document is not a month-by-month process. Like, in other words, it's sort of what I'm trying to say here is if I need a new birth certificate and I've got to go to New York to go pick it up, even if I have to wait for it to be delivered in the mail, it's not going to show up in December if I go today. I would just tell my constituents, go solve that problem now. If you can't do it online, get down to the office and get it done.
Okay, one other thing about that, though. These 20 million people, how many do you think they are from this country?
5 at best. No, I'm sorry. That sounds awful. I meant 5 million, not just 5 people. That comes off a little harsh. I'm just saying.
Well, my point is this: is that okay? You have ample time to get your paperwork in order. Like, hello, we're not trying to pull the rug out from under you.
Exactly.
Hello. Wake up, people.
Yeah, exactly. So you're making my point for me, and eloquently, I might add. The bottom line is like, let's pass the law. But since it's going to be the law and we passed the law, now we've got plenty of time to tell 20 million people, hey, go get that corrected. You've got months to get it done. And go do it now.
There's no excuse.
I know. Hey, remember when everybody had to have the real ID thing? Remember how many years they told people they had to get it done? You have to get that real ID thing. After a while, it was you could no longer go with the regular driver's license. You were going to have to get this real ID process.
And they kept extending it and extending it.
Exactly.
And extending it. They're going to do the same thing with this.
Probably.
You know they are.
Probably. And again, it's like I said, if you want to get it done, you will get it done. If you want to vote, if it's really important for you to vote, and you really want to make sure that MAGA, doesn't get a foothold on our democracy, you will put your butt out there and get the stuff you need to get done. Other than that, you're just lazy.
Don't blame the don't blame the White House. We're giving you plenty of time here.
Couldn't imagine more time.
They just don't want to lose their power. They think they have the power in the votes, and they don't. Yeah. They don't have the power in the votes. So that's the reality.
That's exactly right.
They're going to get their butts kicked in November. Seriously,
I really believe it. Thank you, Mark. I really appreciate it, sir.
Yep. Take care.
When we return, of course, we've got music news coming up, but I want to play these 2 pieces, one from MS Now and one from what's her name, Joy Reid, formerly of MS Now. I want to play those 2 sound bites because they are very, very interesting. Last Friday, I talked about the new litmus test that must be Democrats should be held to, because they hold one for MAGA Republicans and Republicans. Do you support this? Do you support that? Well, I've got that question. When you talk to people on the left, you have to ask them, do they support this? Do they support the mutilization of children? Do you support that? Because your party does. You've got to, if they wish to hold, make us go through that gauntlet every time when it comes to, to Donald Trump or Republicans, we should do the same thing with them. I'm not sure why there's no audio. It should be fine. Anyway, we'll go through that in the next hour as well. Plus your phone calls at 860-522-WTIC, asking the same question I did in the opening monologue. You don't like Aaron. You don't like Ryan. You don't like Betsy. You don't like the Republicans. So who are you for? When one of those individuals is chosen, who will you be voting for? Or will you not be voting at all? Now, I'm starting to get the impression that you will be voting for no one. You will not get up off your butt and go down and vote. It's what I believe. It's really, really what I believe. And I think you're saying as much. Also, if you're unaffiliated, explain it to me. Unaffiliated with what? Are you not affiliated with Ben Proto? So what? And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So you're not affiliated with Ben Proto, which means what? You're not affiliated with Connecticut GOP. So what does that mean? Like in a grand scheme, at the end of the day, who are you voting with? You voting with us conservatives, or you voting for somebody else? Or you voting with someone else? Are you a closet Democrat? Is this an opportunity for you to vote any which way, for you to be wishy-washy? Just tell me what it means. That's all I'm asking. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher's here. He's at the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
I'll be the first one to tell you this is right now one of my favorite shirts. I'm wearing the shirt that I got as a gift at the Mark Twain House. And I want to thank the folks who made that possible. I'll talk about them in a bit. But it's time for music news. News. In music news, Nancy Wilson of the group Heart, she is also the guitarist and singer of the group, turned 72 years old. Of course, behind the breakout hit Barracuda, Alone and These Dreams, which, by the way, I'm not going to lie, all three of those songs, absolutely solid records. Wolfgang Van Halen, those of you who do not know him, is the son of none other than Eddie Van Halen. He turns 35 years old today, born in 1991. Holy moly. He's a grown man. And he's actually quite good on guitar. Also, give it up for Public Enemy's Flavor Flav. He turns 67 years old. You might remember him as the clock-wearing hype man for the group Public Enemy, known for Fight the Power and 911 is a Joke, which is still a solid record. Still, musically, I still think it's my favorite Public Enemy record, and Flavor Flav is in it. We celebrate the 50-year anniversary of Marvin Gaye's I Want You, the 1976 sensual introspective masterpiece, that they call it. I'm not really a Marvin Gaye fan. It is 58 years ago that Otis Redding's Sitting on the Dock of the Bay hit number one on the Billboard Hot 100s in 1968. 27 years ago, Pearl Jam's debut album, 10, certified diamond in the U.S. 62 years ago, the Beatles' Can't Buy Me Love was released in the U.S. and sold over 2 million copies in advance. Hit number one for 5 weeks and set a new sales record. 59 years ago, Pink Floyd began recording sessions for their debut album, The Piper, at the Gates of Dawn at Abbey Road. 56 years ago, we lost Tammy Terrell. She died at age 24 from a brain tumor back in 1970. She did the famous duet with Marvin Gaye, Ain't No Mountain High Enough. And 16 years ago today, we celebrate two of the groups that I love, but one that I especially love. ABBA, Genesis, and the Hollies, ABBA, still my group, were all inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 16 years ago today. And that is your music news. Mark Christopher, he is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. 911 is a joke. That's got to be in your rotation.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We're back. I want to play this Joy Reid clip in a second, but someone asked me in the chat room about this, and I do have to respond because people have asked me this throughout my life, and I've never really been made to answer it. Not that I'm being made to answer it now, but I will. So I was mentioning in the music news about Marvin Gaye, and I inadvertently said never really been a fan. I've never been a fan. Never. His music is too preachy. And it just is. I don't know what he was trying to convey, but it does not speak to me. It just doesn't. And the people who love him talk about him in a way that I don't see it. It's like someone trying to substantiate a ghost. And again, I really don't see it. It's never spoken to me. And the time in my life when Marvin Gaye was the most relevant, it was when the song Sexual Healing came out. Now, this is where I will admit I'm biased. I hate that song. I hate it. I really hate it. For no reason other than the fact that they wouldn't stop playing it. It was just annoying to hear that record played everywhere, over and over and over again. Like for some odd reason, it was it was like music royalty. It is a ridiculously repetitious, silly, baseless song. It is so awful. And I can't find any reason to like it. When I hear it, I turn off the radio. If it is played at a wedding or at an event, I leave. It annoys me so much as soon as I hear it. When his voice comes on, for me, it's like chewing glass whenever I hear it. And it doesn't make me violent. It just is annoying. It is an earworm. And when people sing it, they go, and they use it as this, it's always used in movies and in film, and it's just, way too much. The saturation of that record. And it just turned me off to him just in total. I can't listen to any of it when they play it. It's like that song, this song, Roland? You read my mind, girl, I wanna shake you down. Remember that record? Hate that record. Hate it. When that song comes, no, it is not. It is repetitious nonsense.
No, that's a great record.
I hate that song. You want to know another one? I'll give you another one.
Every song that you hate is a great record.
No, it is not. Okay, fine. Think so? Get out of my dreams, get into my car. It's a kidnapping record by Billy Ocean. Hate that record. Top 40 hit. Garbage. Straight garbaggio. Hate that record.
No, man.
Yes.
Classic. You talking about classics.
Yes. It's like, Matt says, I guess I get that. That's why I hate the Cranberries and Joe Cocker. I know. He's not so much about Joe. If I have to hear that ridiculous song, what would you do? No. What would I do if they play that record again? It's just cannot.
What is the trigger? I don't get it. What's the trigger?
It's again. Okay, so if I have to give you time, this is the perfect time to explain this every day. Imagine this. Working at a grocery store.
Yep.
Listening to Top 40 radio.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know this because, again, I'm not working in radio at the time, so I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. So having the hindsight of knowing this later on, it really makes sense why I hate it. What was the I want to find the station, but I want to say it's like one of those light FMs or whatever it was. So that's what they played in the supermarket. And that song was played several times a day in its heyday. Several times in its heyday. And I couldn't stand it. Whenever it was being played, it was on music videos. It was on, didn't even have MTV. It was just everywhere. Friday night videos. It was always played. Just couldn't get it out of everyone's collective minds. So now I realize when I get older, when I first start working at Hot 97 in New York, and the New York Daily News did an article about this. Do you remember Ja Rule's record with Ashanti? I think it's Put It On. No, it was Little Mo's record, okay. Put It On Me, whatever it was. So they had done an article that talked about how many times a song was played by Ja Rule, who when he was ruling the roost on radio. And I didn't realize this. It turns out Marvin Gaye, and I went and looked it up. Turns out Marvin Gaye was being played more than Ja Rule's records were being played on hip-hop stations. Try this on. On one network, Hot 97, Ja Rule's most popular record at the time, Put It On Me, with Little Mo, featuring Little Mo, right? Is that? With Little Mo, right? Was getting played 86 times a week. 86 times.
Well, they had to get their 90,000 spins a month or whatever it is.
86 times a week. How many hours in a day? And we're talking about the prime time is from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Yep.
Right? If you're playing that record that many times, of course, it's this repetition. That song by Marvin Gaye, Sexual Healing, was being played double that on regular stations.
Yeah, a lot of people was baby making to that song.
Yes, I know they were, but it was... Again, I'm a teenager at the time. I've got no girlfriend. The song had no relevance to me. And also, at the time, I'm a big, giant hip-hop head, okay? R&B music was not my thing. Slow jams, that Freddie Jackson's, and what's the other one? Who is it? Anita Baker. Could not ever deal with listening to Peebo Bryson. All of those guys. Couldn't listen to them. They would play those records, and I would walk away. I could not stand R&B or love ballads or any of that stuff. You had to play the hippity hop for me, and that was all I was listening to. And Marvin Gaye was at the center of all of that, and it just drove me crazy. It just did. It just did. And as a teenage boy who liked hip-hop and breakdancing and hanging out with my friends, a song like that comes on, and it's just you and your buddies. It just kills the mood. Who wants to listen to that? Who just does? I'm a teenage boy. It wasn't geared towards me anyway. So Marvin Gaye, like all these, I hear these grown men talking about, it's like, man, they throw on some Marvin Gaye. I'm like, no, I would never throw on Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, well, they had ladies, man.
Yes, I understand they had ladies.
So the Marvin Gaye is what opened up the ladies to them.
I listen to the music that my wife listens to, like the so-called baby-making music to it, and I listen to it, and I just go, No, I can't get in the mood to that stuff. The whole time. And the names are crazy. Pink Sweats? Like, what type of name is that for an R&B singer? And then you look at him and you just go, why is he overweight? He can't be no, that doesn't look right. Look, it's the same way I look at Barry White. Now, Barry White and Isaac Hayes, both of those guys are big men. But their music, for me, I love Barry White. So it's not like I'm just hating on the baby-making music. Barry White had... he had the baby-making voice. But I will listen to Barry White any day of the week. Isaac Hayes even, any day of the week. Marvin Gaye, not so much. Not so much. Can't do it. Cannot do it. Drives me through the roof. I just can't.
That's too bad, man.
And people say that it's great music, and I just go, I've listened to it. It's straight garbage. It just is. Straight garbage. Anyway, what does Craig say? Craig said, get out of my dreams. Is what my friends call rapey wingers. I totally agree. It is an awful song. It's yes, I'm on fire. Another one by Springsteen. Yes, these are weird songs. Devo's. Would Devo get you into the mood? No. Devo? No. Not at all. But I've such an eclectic group. Again, when I went to the Mark Twain house to go watch The Mentalist, this couple was sitting next to me, and he was talking about all the bands he's gone to see. And then I started talking about bands that I've taken Roseanne to go see. And I started mentioning all of these groups that I've seen in concert or that I wanted to see in concert. And my list is like all over the place. So here I am talking about going to see Silver Sun Pickups. Turns out he was at the same night that we went there. And then I told him I went to go see Loverboy and REO Speedwagon. Then I was talking about going to see or wanting to see De La Soul. And we saw The Far Side. He was like, wow, it's like you are all over the place with the music that you like. And I am. I'm all over the place with the music that I enjoy. And especially if you're in the car with me, you can go from rock to hip hop in a nanosecond. And again, I'm in the same mood, enjoying. But you'll never hear an R&B record played in the car ever. You'll never hear it. You'll never hear some sappy little love song. I can't do it. I can't. It kills the mood every time. It's just awful. I can't do it. I just can't. I love the Cars. I love the Cars. I would listen to Cars all day. I love the Cars. And the Cars was my band. That's still my band. I still say they're my band. Just a Marvin Gaye thing. I almost feel like you're supposed to say you like Marvin Gaye. Like you're a part of some group. You know? So it's like, oh, do you love Marvin Gaye? I like Marvin Gaye too. I don't want to be a part of that group. I don't. They say that. Who's the other one? It's like people like, do you ever hear people like raving about Diana Ross? Do you ever hear that? I was like, I love this Diana Ross record. I was like, no one does. No one does. Diana Ross's, career is more about her being a legend than having legendary music. You never hear any about, like, there are no Diana Ross, like, real music lovers. They more like Diana Ross and seeing her at, New Year's celebrations. You know? I don't know. It sounds crazy, but I'm not. No, In Vogue. No, In Vogue had one really good record. It was their debut record. That was their only record that was worth anything. All the rest of that other stuff that they did, garbage. Straight trash. Now, if you want to hear some really, really good R&B, I'll give you an artist. You've got to know this one, Roland. Have you ever heard of Lucy Pearl? You know, listen to Raphael Sadiq? No? How about D'Angelo?
Yeah, I like D'Angelo.
Okay.
Raphael Sadiq, we have a personal...
You have a personal beef with Raphael Sadiq?
Yeah.
I have to talk to you about this off the air. We have to talk. I worked that album.
Yeah,
I promoted that. Not a fan.
No, he's not a good guy.
Not a good guy. No, I've heard this before, so you have to tell me all the dirt. Here I am gossiping. I'm saying I don't gossip. No, because Raphael Sadiq, it's a weird relationship because,
I only met him one time, but that's all I needed.
You only need it?
Yeah.
That's all you need. I had to work that album, the first Lucy Pearl album.
Yeah.
I worked that for Joey Bonner, and I went to go see it. When that album was out, I saw them 5 times live. In that album, I know the word. It was funny. I was at a concert at CBGB's, not CBGB's, I apologize. The Soho Club, right? Soho Club in downtown Manhattan. And the album had just dropped maybe a week before. So we're in the concert watching them perform live. And the entire set, I knew every word because I had gotten the album in advance and I had played it like 1,000,000 times because I really love that album. Anyway, so there's a woman in the crowd after the concert's over. She walks up, and I'm with my girlfriend. She walks up to me, and she goes, can I ask you a question? And the girl I was with was like, damn, like right in front of me? It's like she thought she was trying to hit on me. And she goes, I have to ask you a question. She goes, yeah. She goes, you knew all the words to everything they performed. I thought the album just came out. And the girl I was dating at the time, she says, are you kidding me? I have to listen to this album every day for weeks. And it's true. I learned that album backwards and forwards. It's still one of my favorite albums.
Oh, really? It had nothing to do with that album. It had to do with Erykah Badu's album.
Ooh. Really?
Yeah, I was real good friends with the guy that helped her write one of the songs.
Ooh, first album?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, On and On.
Not On and On. It was.
Well, no. I was just saying that was the album with On and On.
Yeah, it was one of the other hits.
Yeah, I knew. To be honest with you, I knew that she was going to be somebody with that album. That album was.
Yeah, fire.
That was fire. Good. I want to hear all the dirt afterwards. All right, stay on the lines, folks. We will get back to you, I promise. We'll get to all of your phone calls. We'll talk about my earlier question. If you're not voting for any of the 3 gubernatorial candidates on the right, who you voting for, and are you going to be there when the voting starts or when we get to the general in November? Give us a call at 860-522-9842, 860-522-WTIC. Let me see. I've gone home because I couldn't hear who let the dogs out one more time without going on a murder spree. I will admit, that song is absolutely awful. That song is the worst. The worst. How about Robert Cray? Who's Robert Cray? You forgive me for not remembering or not knowing who he is. Anyway, yeah, not a fan. Just sorry. My Marvin Gaye. That's about as far as it gets. We'll be back. More news, more views. Mark Christopher. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Mark, I'm sure you're a Marvin Gaye fan.
Love Marvin.
Yeah.
Huge
okay.
Marvin.
That's okay. Favorite song? Real quick.
I'll tell you what. It's not going to be one you would think.
I'm hoping that it's an eclectic one and not the one that everybody goes to.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
Now the light is on. When I pull up the microphone rolling, the light all of a sudden turns on now. Yeah, the light on the screen here, it turns on now. It's back. It's weird. Anyway, I don't know what that's about. By the way, I want to give a shout out. Nah, it's not a shout out. I want to give a boo to City Hall Adam. He actually just sent me the link to Greg Abbott's Shake You Down music video. I hate that song, and you know I do. That's why I sent it. He sent it to annoy me. I can't stand that song. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Come on, girl, let's rock the show. I'm like, who's the writing staff on this garbage? I can't believe that's in the song. Now, I know it's only reason why. Look, I tried to explain this a long time ago. People don't understand it. A friend of mine said to me one day, it's like, for somebody who hates it so much, you know everything about it. That's why I'm qualified to hate it. And it is reckless to just hate something for the sake of hating it. I know everything there is to know about the thing that I despise most. It's like knowing all the words to the worst music or the worst songs. You know you do. I laugh all the time. Was it last week? Mark Christopher played Tone Loc's Wild Thing. I know everything there is to know about that song. Everything. All the lyrics, too. Hate that record. And it's the reason why I look at, Sir Mix-a-Lot, which I try not to hate his, what's the name of that song? Is it Now Baby Got Back? Yes. I try really hard to hate on that song, but it's got some clever lyrics to it. By the way, on my list of top 40 records that stand up. And Baby Got Back is great. Primarily because of two lines, and I give Rama credit for the second one because I didn't really think about it, but he's right. Two lines in Baby Got Back that I love are, oh, baby, I want to get with ya and take your picture. Great line. And the other one, red beans and rice didn't miss her. I think that's it. Both of those songs lyrically stand up. So as corny as they may be, enough to make me walk off the dance floor if those songs are playing. I still, to this day, I have to give it props because it's a decent record. If it makes you feel any better, I cannot stand the song Word Up by Cameo. I hate that song. Okay, see, finally, even Roland doesn't like that song. Word up. It's a code word. Oh, it's so awful. It is awful. I hate that song. And you know what's worse than Cameo singing Word Up? Wedding bands singing Word Up. Oh, man, do not sing that song. I so hate that record. I so hate it. It really, I never thought I would use the word triggering. It's just the opening of that.
That's so great.
Oh, it's just so awful.
The way he sings the baby, I'm hot just like an oven. I need some loving. You can relate to that.
No, I cannot. Nobody wants some loving when they're hot. When I'm warm, I'm like, ugh, don't touch me. Nobody does. You would ask my wife when she has a hot flash. She says, don't touch me.
Need some healing, man.
No. Absolutely not. Just to listen to it. As soon as I heard it, I went, my ears just perked up. What the hell are you doing? Ugh.
You know I got to get you.
That's okay. I expected you to. Was it the first time I saw the video that I laughed so hard I could not help but be a fan? Stevie V says, what's your take on Brick House? Stevie V, let me tell you, I was in the car the other day. I just arrived home after running some errands, and that song came up in rotation because I was listening to some yacht rock. And, of course, after it's done with all of the song that's got listed, then it goes elsewhere. And it went into the Commodore's Brick House. And I have to admit, I liked listening to it. I was like, I haven't heard this in a while. It's a great record. I keep saying to myself, I can't remember. Maybe somebody should correct me. Had this guy, Lionel Richie, had already left by the time Brick House was out, or was he just not on that song? I don't know. Whatever. I just thought it was interesting. Let me play this, and I'll get to the phones real quick. Joy Reid clearly does not understand that every person in America who has the means to wishes to leave something to their children. I don't care who you are, what economic status you are in. You say to yourself, you wish to yourself that you could leave something to your children, young or old, as a legacy of sorts. And you hope that it would carry down to generations so that they will remember you. Some families even wish that they could leave them some money to say, hey, if I ever pass on, I want you guys to have this, that, and the third. Take care of yourselves, whatever the case may be. Middle-class families everywhere, no matter your stripe, want to. So when she said this, I was a little, flipped out because I know Joy Reid's got millions of dollars, and there's no way that she could believe this.
Is that if you go back before the 20th century, there were no income taxes, there were no regulations on business. You could earn as much money as you want, leave 100% of it to your children with no taxes. Right. That's the world they want back. And to get it back, they need society to change. They need people to be less modern.
And in my head, I'm sitting up there going, I never thought that was a bad thing. Did you ever think that was a bad thing? Listen again.
Is that if you go back before the 20th century, there were no income taxes.
I'm cool.
There were no regulations on business.
I'm cool.
You could earn as much money as you want. Leave
yeah.
100% of it to your children with no taxes.
Leave 100% of it to my children, no taxes. Again, downside, please. Anybody.
That's the world they want back. And to get it back, they need society to change. They need
society to change. You don't need society to change. Any normal person would look at that and go, yeah, I'm pretty sure Joy Reid is thinking about that with her babies. I know she looks at her kids every day and she goes, I hope that I can transfer my wealth to my children. Whatever. What is the point of generational wealth that these so-called rabble-rousers keep trying to get people to come back to? That's what they want for the black community, don't they? Generational wealth. Well, how do you think that happens? And by the way, if you have more than one kid, that wealth diminishes. Because if you have one kid and you have $1 million to give away, that kid gets $1 million. If you have two kids, they don't get $1 million apiece if you only got $1 million to distribute. It's diminishing. Like, does she not get it? These people don't. It's economics 101. No one looks at that stuff and goes, well, I wish. And on another stupid front, by the way, we need to start. Remember I said the litmus test for Democrats? Here's one. If you run into a Democrat, ask them this. Ask them if Pete Hegseth describing the enemy in Iran as savages is this.
really disturbing in the messaging around the war recently, and Eamon, I really want your thoughts on this in particular, is some of the language and the description of their opponent, sort of the way they seem to create this image of the Iranians and all of their sort of proxies or allies, the sort of imagery that they conjure up. And I think that it takes a certain amount of arrogance, and I'm also going to say it, a bit of racism, to constantly talk about people like they are savages. That is a word that we have heard Hegseth use.
And she refers to Iranians as our opponents. What does she think they're playing UConn? Like, what is she talking about? So we should ask, do you think it's racist to call the Iranians who are fighting and bombing sovereign countries or neighboring countries with ballistic missiles, do you think that it's racist to call them savages to attack civilians? That's the question we should be asking. Do you agree with MS Now? I was stunned when I was like, and she seems to be upset. Pete Hegseth calls his Iranian opponents savages, and he's racist for it. Forget about the part about the Iranians referring to America's, death to them, kill the infidels. Nothing racist about that. Calling us dogs. I mean, I don't know. I just thought that was a little weird. Anyway, let's go back to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. Kyle is in Wallingford. Hello, Kyle.
Hey, Reese. I was just getting such a kick out of hearing you whack out about Marvin Gaye. And now you came up with a serious topic that I like, but
that's okay. That's okay.
Well, one suggestion, everybody's got one of those songs, though, so some afternoon I think you should, along with whatever else you talk about, everybody should give their one song, that absolutely just, when they hear it, click.
Yes, leaving the dance floor or whatever event you are at.
Or whatever.
Yeah. What song did you have?
Well, I know this is going to sound crazy to some people, but the one that does it for me, and it's only because it's just been overkilled on classic rock radio. Okay. Sweet Child of Mine, Guns N' Roses. Oh. Every time I hear that guitar, I'm sorry, I just can't do it again. Over and over. But everybody's got that song, you know what I mean? And I know it's not it's not the worst song. It's certainly very unique and original and very recognizable, but I'm sorry, I just don't need to hear it, for the 949th time.
We used to have a bar band list at a bar that I used to frequent, and we would put the list up every weekend by the jukebox, and we had people who had to adhere to it. If you came in, if you played this song on the jukebox, you got booed, and in some cases you were threatened to leave. So the songs were anything by AC/DC. Could not be played at the bar. It is so wild. Could not be played. Another one was, Stairway to Heaven. The worst drinking song, by the way. I need people to understand that. You cannot play Stairway to Heaven at a bar and think that there are not going to be people who are going to be contemplating suicide during that song. Just would drive me nuts. Sweet Child of Mine was not on that list per se, but I will go so far as to say a Guns N' Roses song this year. No, we're never on the list. I couldn't find that on the list, but AC/DC was always up there. Also, Mustang Sally could not be played. Cannot play that song.
I'm not quite. Yeah. Okay. Well, could I go to the serious for just a second?
Yeah. Of course you can.
The Pete Hegseth while you've got me on here. Okay. She's worried about Pete Hegseth calling, I don't think he's referring to all Iranians and the Iranian people.
He's talking about his enemy.
The leader of, Iran, what leader goes out and kills 40,000 of his own people and, shouts death to America and seriously means it, death to Israel. And, I'm sorry, but to me, Savage that's not even close to what that guy was.
If anything, he was being, I would say, soft on his language that he used savage.
I enjoy hearing your show every afternoon when I'm driving home. Thank you. I'll let someone else jump in, okay?
You got it. Thank you so much, Kyle. I appreciate the call. Yeah, it's, again, I don't understand it. Never will. Ridiculous. And the fact that it actually came out. But I had to play it for you because I wanted you guys to hear that. Free Bird, and I'll kill you. Also on the banned song list. Come on, Roland. You can't possibly like every record. Isn't there a song you hate that you cannot, like if you are someplace and they play it, you've got to walk out the room? Like a song that absolutely irks you, that doesn't have a personal sort of, relationship to you. That a song that just gets played and you go, not that one. Then you will cringe that someone played it.
I can't.
Really? You
I
like
can't,
everything?
I don't like everything, but I can't think of.
You don't have that one song that irritates you?
No, I don't have one song that like.
Macarena.
No, I love that song.
Oh, my goodness.
I do the dance and everything.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
You don't.
Yeah, that's a great record, man.
Oh, my goodness.
Good family fun record.
Really?
Yeah, it's a family fun.
Really?
Corny family fun record.
Okay, that a corny family fun record are fine. I won't argue that. But there are some doozies. I'm telling you, there's some top 40 songs.
I would have to hear it and be like, oh yeah, I remember. I hate that song. But I don't think about them. That's the problem.
I'll give you fine. I'll go one step further. You know, it's a song that plays that I still can't think, and I don't understand why anyone loves it. And it's by a class. I mean, we're talking about a what I would consider a iconic singer, Michael Jackson's "Dirty Diana." Horrible record.
I actually like that song.
I don't.
There's Michael Jackson songs I don't like though.
Cannot stand that song. I mean, every time I hear it, I go, "This is the worst record."
I don't listen, and I should because I'm a lyricist. But a lot of times, I was a musician before I was a lyricist, so
yeah,
I get caught up in the music a lot of times.
Yes, I got you.
Did you hear that? I'll ask somebody. Did you hear that cowbell right there?
Yeah,
that was the perfect spot to put that cowbell.
Yeah,
and they killed that. So that's the kind of stuff I'm listening for. And if something piques my interest like that, then I like the whole song because of that. There's certain parts of top 40 hits that's out now by like Sabrina Carpenter and all the newbies that's out. And I'll listen to the record. I don't really care for the record, but then I'll hear something in it. I'll be like, that's fire. The way they set that up and put that transition in.
Yeah.
I
get that.
That made that great song for me.
But there are some songs that I just go, like, phoned it in, very silly. Like, there's a song, I can tell you this. Weirdly enough, do you remember that song called Safety Dance? You're probably not old enough to remember that.
No.
From the 80s.
I would have to hear it.
We can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind.
Oh, yeah, I know
your
that song.
friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, then no friends of mine.
Yeah.
Hated that record growing up. Now when I hear it, I go, I remember this. And it brings back memories.
Yeah, it brings back memories.
Still a straight garbage record. It's still a garbage
The 80s
record.
songs I like are all from movies. So.
I get knocked down, and I get up again.
Yeah.
Hate that record. But if I haven't heard it in a while, it comes over and I go, I remember this. So I don't have that visceral reaction to every one of the songs, but there are a few out there that, and Marvin Gaye's Sexual Healing is that one. It just is. I just can't listen to it. It just is.
It's ABC 1, 2, 3. You can't really get mad at it.
Yeah, Men Without Hats. I remember that group. Boy, do I remember that group. I was actually just listening to them. They popped up on my YouTube the other day, my YouTube music, and I was like, oh, yeah, Men Without Hats. What the heck happened to them? Whatever it is, they're gone. Anyway, we got to get up out of here. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on Radio. You have a good night, pleasant tomorrow. We will see you back here at 2 p.m. mañana.